Alright, so now that I got that, I'm gonna go ahead and put some Teflon tape on the barb fittings and screw them into the bulkheads. And this is actually where I stopped filming because it got kind of chaotic. Our furniture got delivered early and it just didn't work out with the camera and stuff. So, sorry guys. So this is the final setup. As you can see, the wet dry filter. And for those of you that are going to ask, that is the WD-75CS wet dry filter made by eShops. You can see on my power strips and my timer there, CO2 tank and the regulator. Got the bottle balls going here. I'm using actually a separate pump to pump water over that. We'll talk about that more later. But look at those bulkheads. Don't they look awesome? Can't believe I did it. I drilled glass. I actually drilled glass and installed bulkheads for the first time in my life. Crazy. But the clamps are holding up really nicely, keeping the plastic pipe on the barb fitting pretty good. And the bulkheads are holding up. I mean, they're just awesome. There's that little pump I was telling you about that pumps water over to the drip plate over the wet dry filter. I'm doing that because I'm using my the overflow of the tank to go through the micron sock, and unfortunately doing that the water won't go over the bottle balls. And here's the finished product. Here's the PVC. This is the return line from the water pump, perfectly installed inside the tank. Also I used a threaded end to screw that into the bulkhead as well, in case you guys were wondering. And all those little micro bubbles you see coming out is CO2. I run my CO2 through my water pump, like I've said before in previous videos. And here's the Durzo standpipe. This thing is just awesome. The overflow is so quiet. I just couldn't believe what a difference it made as far as the noise level. Once again, buried into the substrate like the other one. And I put a strainer on it so that I wouldn't have to build an overflow weir. And a weir is actually the overflow wall, you know, the thing that has little teeth at the top. So I use a strainer so I don't have to build that instead and take up more space in the tank. This way, you know, fish won't get sucked into the filter and it can still function properly, or the overflow can still function properly. And with the Durzo, you really want to make sure that you put 2 air holes at the top where the top cap is, or else it just won't work properly. So yeah, here's the stand. The stand is really nice. Turned out pretty good. It looks kind of rustic, but you know, you can tell it's homemade, but it doesn't matter to me. I like it. And here are the plants. Yeah. The rotella in the background kind of looks a little, you know, mangy, but it looks like that because I had it in a plastic bin on my balcony for about a week. So it kind of became a little unhealthy, but they'll spring back to life in about a week or so.